parents backed my sister's cheating and did not tell it to her husband, but I secretly sent him a letter telling him how he's being betrayed by my family. But my husband is going mad over this, because he thinks I ruined multiple families at once and wants me to tell my family what I did and apologize. Hi, 30, female. I have always seen myself as someone who really values honesty and integrity. Growing up, I thought my parents, Louise, 64 male, and Catherine, 60 female, were the ones who taught me those values. But as I got older, I started to notice some flaws in the perfect family image they worked so hard to create. My sister, Rosa, 27 female, was clearly the favorite. It was never said outright, but it was obvious to everyone. She could get away with anything, whether it was dodging chores as a teen or pulling crazy stunts in college. She always seemed to escape the fallout. Meanwhile, I was the responsible one, constantly getting lectured about being a good example and not causing any trouble. Most of the time, I did not care. I was cool with it. Rosa was my sister. I loved her and I cared about her a lot. She had this thing about her, a great sense of humor, and somehow always found a way to wiggle out of sticky situations. I figured she would eventually mature, so when she got married to Carter, 30 male, I thought she had finally changed. Carter was not just some random guy. He had been my best friend since we were in middle school. Carter is one of those special people who truly makes the world better just by being around. We met in middle school, and he was always different from the rest. He would stand up for kids who were bullied and help classmates struggling with their homework. That kindness has stayed with him over the years. Carter is the kind of friend who is always there when you need him, whether it's listening when you're feeling down or rushing over to help you move heavy things at the last minute. He has a unique way of making everyone feel important and appreciated, no matter what they are going through. Honestly, he's the kind of person you want by your side, and I have always been proud to call him my best friend. Carter is not only a great friend, but also very dedicated to his work. He started his career in construction management from the ground up and always goes the extra mile for his clients and team. Even with a packed schedule, he makes time for everyone around him. He enjoys organizing game nights on weekends and always arrives at family gatherings with a smile and a thoughtful gift. When Carter married Rosa, I felt truly happy for them because I believed she had found someone who really brought out her best qualities. His loyalty, honesty, and kindness make him a wonderful person. Carter marrying Rosa honestly felt like a prank the universe was playing on me. I mean, seriously, I have been his best friend for ages. If this were a rom-com, he would have seen that I was the one who had his back all this time and we would be riding off into the sunset together. Carter is just one of those people you cannot help but admire and be drawn to. Watching him end up with Rosa, who I knew did not really appreciate him, made me think he might have chosen the wrong sister. But hey, it's all in good fun because Owen, 30 male, my husband, is absolutely amazing. Anyways, Rosa and Carter got married about 4 years back, and over the years, their marriage seemed solid. They looked happy, had a beautiful home, and seemed to be building a good life together. Carter would still come over to hang out with me when everything felt normal. But then, a few months ago, my parents dropped a shocking news that changed everything. It was after a family dinner when they pulled me aside. They told me in a matter-of-fact tone that Rosa had been having an affair for over a year. At first I thought they were joking. It did not make sense. Rosa and Carter seemed fine. More than fine even. But my parents were not joking. They said Rosa had met someone else and instead of condemning her actions, they were fully supporting her. Their reasoning? Carter was not making Rosa happy and she deserved to explore her options. I was stunned. It was not just the affair that shocked me. It was the way my parents were so nonchalant about it. They talked about it like it was no big deal, as if Rosa's happiness was the only thing that mattered. When I asked them if Carter knew, they laughed and my dad said that he definitely did not know and that there was no need to tell him because it would just complicate things. I was shocked by what I heard. This was not just Rosa messing up. My parents were actually protecting her, lying to Carter and supporting her mess. They even helped her hide the affair by covering for her when she went to meet this other guy. They told me to keep my mouth shut about it, calling it a family matter, and said that I needed to stay loyal to my family. For weeks, I felt trapped. Every time I saw Carter, I felt like a fraud. He would come over, crack jokes and ask me for advice about little things like home projects or work stress. He had no idea his entire life was a lie. I started avoiding him because I could not look him in the eye without feeling guilty, but avoiding him did not make the guilt go away. If anything, it made it worse. I knew the truth and by staying silent, I was involved in and encouraging Rosa's behavior. I tried talking to Owen about it. He seemed torn. On one hand, he understood why I felt the way I did, and on the other hand, he warned me that getting involved could backfire. He said it's not my place. And even though I think I'm helping, it might backfire on me. I still could not shake the feeling that I had to take action. Carter was not just Rosa's husband, he was my best friend. How could I say I cared about him while letting him stay in the dark? The longer I kept quiet, the more it felt like a heavy weight on my chest. I kept picturing how I would feel if the tables were turned, if Owen was cheating on me and everyone knew but chose to stay silent. Just thinking about it made me feel nauseous. Eventually, I decided I could not stay quiet anymore and I wrote Carter a letter. I kept it anonymous, but I included enough details for him to verify the truth. I told him about the affair, how long it had been going on for, and how my parents were helping Rosa hide it. I made it clear that I was not trying to hurt him but that he deserved to know the truth. Then I mailed it and waited. The fallout was immediate. Carter confronted Rosa and from what I have heard, it was explosive. Rosa denied it at first but when Carter presented evidence she had no choice but to admit it. He moved out that same day. My parents were furious. They have no idea I was the one who told Carter but they are blaming whoever it was for ruining Rosa's life. They have been calling it a betrayal of the family and saying that the person who exposed her is a coward for doing it anonymously. As for Rosa, she's been playing the victim. She's been telling anyone who will listen that she made a mistake but did not deserve to have her life destroyed over it. She's conveniently leaving out the part where she lied to her husband for over a year and dragged my parents into her mess. Meanwhile, Carter is devastated. He's staying with a friend while he decides what to do next. He has not said much to me about it and I'm terrified he will figure out I was the one who sent the letter. But the biggest blow came from Owen. When I told him what I did, he was livid. He said I had no right to interfere in Rosa and Carter's marriage and that I had caused unnecessary drama. He believes I have destroyed multiple relationships at once. Rosa and Carter's marriage, my relationship with my parents, and potentially my friendship with Carter. Owen keeps saying I should have stayed out of it, but it was not my place to get involved. He thinks I should come clean to my family and apologize for what I did. I do not agree. My parents and Rosa are only angry because their little secret got out. They don't care about the damage they've caused or the pain Carter is going through. As for Carter, I do not regret telling him. He deserved to know the truth. If someone I trusted knew my husband was cheating on me, I would want them to tell me. But Owen's words have been weighing on me. He is right that my actions caused a lot of pain even if that was not my intention. Now everything feels broken. My parents are furious at whoever exposed Rosa and I know they would cut me off if they found out it was me. Rosa's got this anger towards everything but she will not own up to her part in it. Carter has no clue. I was the one who spilled the beans, but our friendship feels off now. And Owen, well, let's just say things at home are pretty awkward. He hardly talks to me, and when he does, it's obvious he's still pretty mad. I keep replaying everything in my mind questioning if I made the right call. Did I really mess up a bunch of families, or was the harm already there? Should I have called out Rosa, or would it have been better to just stay out of it like Owen suggested? I'm really not sure anymore. All I know is that things will never be the same again. Ida for exposing my sister's affair and causing all this drama. Update 1. Hi, everyone. I'm back with an update. I read through some of the comments on my original post, and I will admit they stung. A lot of people seem to think I completely overstepped by telling Carter about Rosa's affair. Some even called me selfish saying I made it about my own need to play the hero. That hurt because I genuinely thought I was doing the right thing. The truth is if I had not told Carter, no one else would have. My parents are so deep in Rosa's corner that they would probably cover for her until the day they died. And Rosa? She was too busy enjoying her double life to care about the damage she was causing. So yes, I broke the silence. Maybe I did not handle it perfectly, but at least Carter knows the truth now. A while back, Carter reached out to me and I did not know what to expect. I thought maybe he had figured out I was the one who sent the letter, but that was not it. He just wanted to talk. Well, vent. Really. He thanked me for being someone he could count on during all this, even though he had no idea I was the one who set everything in motion. We talked for hours and it was heartbreaking. He told me about how blindsided he felt, how he had been racking his brain trying to figure out what he did wrong. Hearing him blame himself made me furious. Rosa's choices were not his fault and I told him that as much as I could without outright telling him what I did. During our conversation, he mentioned he did not have anywhere stable to stay. He's been bouncing around between friends' couches, living out of a duffel bag. That broke me. Carter has always been the one people lean on, the guy who's there for everyone. And now when he needed help, it felt like no one was really stepping up. I offered for him to stay with me and Owen, at least until he could figure out his next steps. He hesitated at first. Carter has never been the type to ask for help, but eventually, he agreed. Carter moving in has been quite the ride. Honestly, it has been fantastic in so many ways. It feels like I have reconnected with my best friend after ages of being distant. We've been hanging out like old times, chatting late into the night, reminiscing about all the silly stuff we did as kids, and just being there for each other. It's like having a piece of my old life back, and I did not realize how much I missed it until now. But for Owen, it's a different story. He's not happy about the arrangement. He keeps saying it's awkward having Carter here and that I'm too involved in this whole mess. He's brought it up more than once that I should have stayed out of it entirely. And he's clearly still holding a grudge about my decision to send the letter. Then there's Rosa, and she has been absolutely furious since she found out Carter's staying with us. She's called me countless times, alternating between crying and yelling, accusing me of stealing Carter and ruining her life. She keeps saying I'm making things worse and that by taking Carter in, I've destroyed any chance of them reconciling. I don't care though. Rosa made her bed. Now she has to lie in it. Carter deserves a safe place to land after everything she's put him through, and I am not going to turn my back on him just to spare her feelings. Carter has been sharing more since he moved in, and it's been a mix of emotions. He told me that marrying Rosa was the biggest mistake of his life and that he wished he had seen her true colors before it was too late. He's still trying to process everything, and it's clear he's struggling. But through it all, he has been so grateful for the support. He keeps thanking me for being there for him, and every time he does, it feels like a small validation of my decision to step in. Having Carter here has reminded me of why our friendship has always been so special. He's not just a friend, he's family to me in a way that goes beyond blood. Seeing him go through this has been heartbreaking, but I'm also glad I can be the person he leans on right now. For the first time in a long time, it feels like we have reconnected on a deeper level, and it has made me realize just how much I have missed having him in my life. This whole mess has definitely put a strain on my marriage. Owen and I are still trying to work through everything, and it has been pretty tough. He's not really angry anymore, but there's this weird distance between us now. I can sense that he's not thrilled about how close Carter and I have gotten again, even though I have told him over and over that it's just friends hanging out. I get why he feels uneasy. This is not your typical scenario, but I really wish he could understand where I'm coming from. I know some people might think I'm in too deep, that I have overstepped my boundaries and caused unnecessary drama, but I do not regret it. Carter has been through hell, and if I can be the one person who's there for him when he needs it most, then I will take the criticism. For the first time in months, I feel like I did something right. I don't know if that makes me the bad guy or not, but at least I can look at myself in the mirror and know I stood up for what I believed in. Update 2. It's been around 6 months since I last shared an update, and honestly, things have just gotten messier. So much has gone down. First off, Carter has officially filed for divorce. It was a long time coming, and I'm proud of him for taking that step. He told me that every day with Rosa felt like walking on eggshells once the affair came to light, and there was no way he could continue living a lie. Rosa, meanwhile, is doing everything to delay the divorce. She really believes she can turn it around and get him back, even though Carter has made it very clear that he's not interested. It is weird to see her hold on to this dream of getting back together, especially since she's not taken any responsibility for what happened. Instead, she's completely blaming Carter for being too hasty and giving up, and is even blaming me for coming between them. Rosa's behavior has been relentless. She has been calling Carter nonstop, leaving long dramatic voicemails about how she still loves him and wants to make things right. She has even shown up uninvited to our house more than once. The first time, Carter was not home, and she spent half an hour yelling at me on the porch, accusing me of stealing her husband. I did not let her in. The second time, Carter was home, and he refused to speak to her, which sent her into a full-blown tantrum. My parents have been trying to mediate, but their idea of helping is just enabling Rosa further. They keep telling Carter to hear her out and give her another chance, like her affair was just a minor hiccup. It's infuriating. Through all of this, Carter has stayed with us, and honestly, I would not have it any other way. He's been focusing on rebuilding his life and going to therapy, working extra hours and trying to figure out what his next steps are. Having a stable place to stay has made a huge difference for him, and I'm glad I can provide that support, but this arrangement has caused serious strain in my marriage. Owen has been pressuring me to ask Carter to leave, saying it's time for him to stand on his own 2 feet, and that our home is not a hotel. I understand where he's coming from to some extent, but I completely disagree. Carter has nowhere else to go right now, and I refuse to abandon him when he needs support the most. This disagreement came to a head recently in the form of a huge fight. Owen, who's typically pretty chill, totally snapped. He straight up told me I had to pick him or Carter. I was shocked by that demand. Carter is my best friend, someone I've been close to for ages. Owen knows how important Carter is to me, so hearing him say that hit me hard. I did not think twice and told him I would choose Carter any day. Since then, things between Owen and me have been bad. He has been sleeping on the couch, avoiding me entirely, and has not spoken to either me or Carter. The atmosphere in the house is just so tense. It feels like we're all tiptoeing around each other, and it's driving me crazy. I try to open up to Owen about my feelings and explain my actions, but he just shuts me down every time. He claims he feels like a third wheel in our marriage and that my loyalty to Carter is hurting us. I get that he's frustrated, but I really do not see why he's being so unreasonable. Carter is not a threat to our marriage. He is just my best friend. I know this situation is far from normal, but I also feel like Owen is being unfair. Carter has been through hell. And if I can be the one person he can rely on right now, why wouldn't I do that? Isn't that what friends are for? Owen keeps saying I'm too involved and that I've crossed some kind of line. But what was I supposed to do? Let Carter fend for himself after everything he's been through? I could not do that. Not as his friend and not as someone who believes in doing what's right. Then there's Rosa, who has only made things worse. She is super mad that Carter is staying with us and has been blowing up my phone. She keeps saying I've stolen Carter and messed up her life, totally ignoring her part in this whole situation. She even told our parents that I was the cause of her marriage falling apart, and now they want me to kick Carter out so that he and Rosa can fix things. I made it clear that is not happening. Rosa created this mess, and now she has to deal with it. I know some people might think I'm prioritizing Carter over my husband, but I do not see it that way. To me, this is about loyalty and doing what's right. Carter's going through one of the hardest times of his life, and I'm not going to kick him out just to make things easier for Owen. If that makes me the bad guy in Owen's eyes, so be it. I'm not turning my back on my best friend. Update 3. This is an update I never thought I would have to write. Things have taken an unexpected and heartbreaking turn, and I'm still trying to process everything. A few nights ago, Owen sat me down for what I thought would be another attempt to hash things out about Carter, but he totally caught me off guard when he said he wanted a divorce. I was in total shock. Yeah, things have been a bit rocky between us lately, but I really thought we could figure it out. I never saw him taking it this far. Owen told me he had been feeling this way for a while. He said he had always suspected I had feelings for Carter, but tried to ignore them, thinking he was just being paranoid. But with everything that has happened over the past few months, me taking Carter in, prioritizing his needs, and standing firm against Owen's wishes, he says it has become painfully obvious that I am in love with Carter. According to him, I've been choosing Carter over our marriage time and time again, and he does not see the point in staying in a relationship where he feels like the third wheel. Hearing Owen say that broke my heart. I tried to explain that it's not true, that I love him, and that my friendship with Carter has never been anything more than just that, a friendship. I told him I was supporting Carter because he needed help, not because I had feelings for him. But Owen did not want to hear it. He said he has already made up his mind and does not want to stay in a marriage where he feels like he's constantly competing with my best friend. I begged him to reconsider and to go to couples therapy or at least have more conversations about how we could fix this. But Owen is stubborn and it's clear he's not going to change his mind. He told me he's already started looking for an apartment and plans to move out as soon as possible. I feel like my world is falling apart. I never wanted things to end like this. I love Owen and I thought we were in this for the long haul. I knew our situation with Carter was causing tension, but I truly believed we would be able to work through it. Now it feels like I have lost my husband and I don't know how to handle it. To make things even more complicated, Carter overheard part of our conversation. He came to me afterwards looking guilty and apologetic. He said he did not mean to cause any issues between Owen and me and offered to move out immediately, if it would help. But I could not bring myself to say yes. Carter is still in a vulnerable place. Kicking him out right now feels like abandoning him all over again. I know people are going to have opinions about this. Some will say I brought this on myself, that I should have put my marriage first, and maybe they're right, but at the same time, I do not regret supporting Carter. He needed someone to stand by him and I was not going to turn my back on him just to avoid conflict. Does that make me a bad wife? Maybe, but I thought Owen understood that Carter has always been a part of my life and that would not change no matter what. Now I'm left with so many questions. Did I misjudge how much I was asking of Owen? Did I take my friendship with Carter too far? Or was this doomed from the start because Owen was never okay with how close I was to Carter? I don't know anymore. All I know is that I've lost my husband. I feel like I failed everyone. I do not know where to go from here or how to fix this. Update 4. Hey, here's another update. So much has changed in the past few weeks, but things have settled down a lot, and I'm still trying to process it all. Carter and Rosa's divorce is still going on. Rosa has finally agreed to the divorce, but moving forward, Carter has to fulfill a lot of her demands, including a huge amount of alimony and other things like that. Owen officially moved out about 2 months back and has filed for divorce. I knew this was coming after our last conversation, but seeing him actually leave was harder than I expected. For all our issues, Owen was a good man, and I will always be grateful for the time we shared. I hope he has the best life ahead. That being said, as everything starts to settle, I am realizing something surprising. I do not feel as heartbroken as I thought I would. Don't get me wrong, I still feel a huge amount of loss. Ending a marriage is a big deal and you cannot just ignore it, but the sadness and regret I thought I would feel has not really come. Instead, I'm experiencing this odd sense of calm, like maybe this was always where my life was meant to go. In the days since Owen left, Carter and I have had more time together, just the two of us. Living together has been surprisingly easy, but lately, there have been moments between us that feel different. It's not something I can ignore. It feels like something. At first, I tried to ignore those feelings and told myself it was just the result of everything we had been through together. But the harder I pushed it down, the clearer it became. This is not just a strong friendship. There is definitely something deeper going on. I finally decided to bring it up with Carter. At first, he didn't say anything and I was terrified I ruined everything, but then he admitted he had been feeling the same way. He told me he did not want to say anything because he thought it might complicate things or that I was not ready after everything with Owen. Hearing him say that felt like a weight lifting off my chest. We both agreed that we don't want to rush into anything, especially given everything we've been through. Carter is still finalizing his divorce, and I'm still adjusting to the reality of my own marriage ending, but we also agree that we want to see where this could go. I know not everyone will agree with the decisions I have made, and I'm prepared for the judgment. People will say I prioritized Carter over my marriage and that I should have handled things differently, and maybe they're right, but when I look at everything that has happened, I cannot bring myself to regret it. If I had not stood by Carter, if I had not followed my instincts, I don't think I would be where I am now. Right now, Carter and I are taking things slow.